So here we are now, we're out in the garage of Vivid Racing here in Arizona. We're installing our one-piece chromoly lightweight flywheel and of course our Exedy Racing Stage 2 clutch kit. Let's get on with it and show you some important tips for your install. When removing the transmission from the K-Series Honda engine, make sure the engine is supported properly with the engine cradle, or if on a vehicle lift, use a support jack. This is necessary as the vehicle subframe must be removed in order to remove the transmission. When removing the transmission, make sure you use a proper transmission jack to properly remove and support the transmission for removal. Here's a prime example of over-greasing the input shaft. As you can see, the debris shooting outwards towards the clutch disc surface area, which would then compromise your clutch performance. Here's a prime example of not properly cleaning your bell housing, as clutch disc material has contaminated into your pressure plate, compromising proper disengagement of your clutch.
Go ahead.
Be sure to properly remove all contaminants, debris, and dust from the input shaft, as well as surrounding area within the bell housing. When properly installing the flywheel pins, use an appropriate shop press or arbor press. Flywheel pin should be installed roughly 50% of the length. Please remove all oil and debris from your flywheel surface to ensure proper engagement and disengagement of your clutch disc to your flywheel. When removing the pilot bushing, be sure to use the proper tools to ensure you don't cause any damage to the crankshaft. When installing the new pilot bushing, push it in by hand and then tap it in using an appropriate size socket. Utilizing the Exedy clutch's provided lubricant, apply some on the throwout bearing and the clutch fork pivot ball. Make sure to clean the input shaft thoroughly and properly before installing the clutch. Once the input shaft is thoroughly cleaned, be sure to inspect for any spline damage. Test fit the clutch disc on the input shaft to ensure it moves freely and properly. Apply a small amount of lubricant on the coil shaft of the bell housing. Apply a small amount of lubricant on the input shaft splines and be sure to remove any excess, as it could cause and compromise. Install the release bearing and the clutch fork and be sure that it moves freely. Red Loctite is your friend. Be sure to apply it on your pressure plate bolts. Be sure to torque the flywheel and pressure plate to factory specifications. Before installing your clutch disc, be sure to give the surface one last wipe down to ensure no debris. Using the provided alignment tool, install the clutch disc into the flywheel. Use red Loctite on your pressure plate bolts. Use factory torque specs when installing the pressure plate to the flywheel. When installing the pressure plate, tighten the bolts in a star pattern, slowly, a little bit at a time, to properly install. Once pressure plate is installed, remove the alignment tool. For any and all other questions, be sure to reference your factory specifications, as that is key to doing a proper install. Well, there you have it. We've installed our clutch in our 06 RSX Type S, or your K-Series engine. Remember, 500 miles for proper break into the track and back, and it's ready to attack. For any other questions, of course, you can go to ExedyUSA.com and you can contact one of our many Exedy racing consultants. So thanks a lot, and basically take care. Have a good one.